Before today's episode, I wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations, and recognise their continued connection to the beautiful land and sea. I'd also like to pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and I extend this acknowledgement to the traditional owners of the land my listeners are on. Welcome to Ritual the Podcast, your cottage in the woods. A sacred space for the witches, the healers, the magical folk to meet and speak of wisdom, witchery, and old world magic, where people come to learn, to hear stories, to share secrets, and to be free to be their true selves. Welcome to Ritual.
Yeah.
Has it started?
We're recording. We're actually doing this.
Hallelujah. Hello, everyone. Stop.
Okay, sorry, you go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ritual the Podcast. I am here with Paddy.
It used to be that you would give me a very loving, excited introduction, and now it just feels
you've worn me down.
Look at the state, look at you're just rubbing your eyes. Even. If
you're watching this on YouTube, you may notice that Paddy has focused the camera on him, and I'm simply just in the background.
What do you? We literally have exactly the same amount of space to work with.
I'm leaning forward. It's all right.
What?
It's fine.
You are a sensitive wee Sally.
It's okay. Just make your own podcast and you can do whatever you want. I don't mind.
Yes, I'm going to call it habitual.
You can do that.
It's going to be about habits.
Oh, could you not have noises on your thing?
I don't want those noises.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Forgot we were doing a podcast for a second.
We're doing a podcast this evening.
Welcome back. We have got our tin hats on tonight, and we're ready for some stories, some conspiracy stories, also known as conspiracy
theories.
Before we get into it, I would just like to take this opportunity to say one thing. Now that we're both here,
am I in trouble?
No.
Oh.
So not the last episode, but the one before, Paddy and I, we talked about the birth of a little poet and also my pregnancy journey and obviously going through a miscarriage and also a quite traumatic birth. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen and you will hear the whole story. But I just wanted to say that we received so many messages from people who had been through something similar or were actually currently going through, unfortunately, something very similar. And also people who just wanted to reach out and send some love. And I just wanted to thank everybody for your messages. They were really beautiful to read and obviously difficult to read, some of them. But I think if anything, it just showed the importance of doing that episode because a lot of people were like, it was really nice to listen to that because it made me feel like I wasn't alone. And that I think was basically the main intention of us making that episode, is that we wanted people to feel like there are others in the same boat because it is a very lonely journey, and we just wanted people to know that we also understand and that you're not alone and that everything will be okay and what you're going through and feeling and all of that is completely justified and you're allowed to feel how you feel in your journey. So thank you so much for all your messages and everything. They were, it was really, really beautiful.
It was really nice. Amy showed me a lot of the nice things and a lot of the not so nice things that people have gone through or are going through. And I think as Amy said, it is important to sort of recognize, not everyone's journey's the same. In fact, they're all different. None of them are worse than anyone else's. None of them are sort of less impactful. They all just are what they are, and it's important to acknowledge that and to feel those feelings. And if anything, like, if we were able to talk into a microphone and for someone to listen to that and get some sense of healing, or some sense of like, fuck, I feel
whatever it was that they
more,
needed.
I don't know what it is, more
Yeah,
like less alone, whatever that is, then we're like super grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because if anything, a lot of people had asked and we were sort of answering, and the fact that then people have said, hey, that actually really helped, or that affected me in a really good way, or blah blah, that's incredible.
Exactly.
That was sort of a
That
nice
was the goal
wee
anyway.
bonus. Yeah, so thank you very
And
much
it's like
as
a
well.
positive to come out of a horrible situation.
Exactly. Yeah,
Besides a really cute baby.
it's pretty cute.
I'm not crying, by the way. I just have like constant hay fever all the time. Oh, I didn't get hay fever tablets. That's okay. Sorry.
We need to get
You
hay
don't need
fever
to know.
tablets.
You don't need to know that. Anyway, changing the subject back to why we are here.
Why are we here?
Because we're going to talk
We're
about
here.
all those crazy conspiracy theories. The last episode we did on this, that we got a lot of love. People,
Yeah.
everyone is just as paranoid as we are,
and crazy, and we don't have any tinfoil, so I couldn't make a hat.
No, but it's metaphorically
But
sitting on our heads.
we're in the cone of silence. I've locked the back door just in case the feds try and break through.
7 times. Click the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone's watching this on YouTube and you see red laser pointers,
this may be the last time, especially my one. This may be the last time you ever hear from me.
My one, actually, because I know what yours is on, my one actually could be slightly linked to yours. Conspiracy.
I like this topic, but it's hard to choose. And I actually, as I was doing it, I remembered the one that I really wanted to do. So I might do that next time. That I'm just saying really useless bits of information tonight. So there you go.
That's strange. You're usually so full of useful information.
Why don't you? What are you doing?
Just pulling you closer so you have nothing to complain about.
I did read one, like random one. I think it popped up on TikTok, and it was like, it was trees are not trees.
Is this like the birds are cameras?
No.
Oh.
It was like, basically, I'm not even going to try and remember the title of it because obviously that's not happening tonight. Basically the idea is it's with the good old flat earthers.
Oh, yes.
That,
I like this.
No offense if you're a flat earther, like we just don't have a lot in common. But basically they think that trees aren't really trees, they're bushes, and that mountains are leftover trunks of the real trees that were destroyed during whatever time the world ended.
Oh my God, they're right.
And that rocks are just rubble from these gigantic trees that were in place of.
It makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. I saw another one that the, in inverted commas, Hollywood elite are in fact vampires, and they've been around forever.
Oh, like they showed like Cage.
And Justin Timberlake and Keanu Reeves and Jay-Z.
Denzel Washington. Some of them are very weird though.
I know, but I mean, look, there's only so many combinations of faces that you can make. Do you know what I mean?
Not necessarily.
Beyond,
there's billions of us
throughout the ages. Were you?
No, your phone lit up and it distracted me.
I'm very popular. And yeah, there's bound to be some sort of similarities. And I mean, there's even people now. Did you don't see the guy? There was a guy on.
Don't they say that everyone has a doppelganger?
Yeah, there was a guy on like Facebook or something, and someone said, "You look exactly like blah blah blah," and they tracked this guy down, and it was literally the person's like twin.
I wonder where mine is.
I'd like to meet them.
I reckon they're really cool.
2 of you walking around. Not so bad.
Who's going first tonight?
Get away from me. Let me love you.
Who's going first?
I don't know.
I'll go first
Okay.
then, since you're just so emotional tonight.
Sorry. It's been a long few
So
weeks.
my one, I was going to do the moon landing, but then I did a quick change at the last minute.
What are you drinking tonight, Amy?
Oh, I'm having Moscato. Actually,
have you shown your glass?
This is my Fairy Queen glass for those watching on YouTube, because now I only drink from vessels that are made from a fairy tale world. So that's my Moscato, and my water is over there, which is also part of the theme. That's my water. I don't drink any pleb drink anymore.
No.
Just a plain glass. Get it away from me. My life is full of magic, even the way I drink my water.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I was going to do the moon.
I'm drinking.
Oh, sorry. What are you? Oh, there's a moth.
Are you in a hurry?
Maybe.
Are you in a hurry?
Maybe I am. What are you drinking, Patty?
Well, Amy, tonight I'm actually having proper 12 Irish whiskey.
Is that
from the notorious Conor McGregor?
Yeah, that one.
He did sell it for hundreds of millions of dollars. But I'm having that, and it may look big, but there's a lot of ice in there and water. And this is a glass that Amy bought me in a set of two. She didn't buy me just one. And these were handmade in Poland.
Yeah.
Hand blown, actually, is the correct phrase. Hand blown in Poland.
Mm. Anyway.
Which is also the name of a film that you can find on the internet.
So I am doing well, I guess the title just gives it away. The world is run by 13 families.
What's this about, this story?
It's about a dog.
Named Blue.
No, so basically, a lot of you may have heard this, but they say, the famous they say that the world is actually run by 13 families. So when you think of the world, we have like our president, prime minister, queen, whatever. They don't mean shit, because there are bigger forces at play here, according to this theory.
They're the ones controlling them.
They control everything. So basically, these 13 families, they say that they own about 99% of the wealth in the world, leaving 1% for the rest of us. So these guys are not messing around at all. Like, they are rich as rich can be.
Quadrillionaires.
So these 13 bloodlines, they basically hold power on every single part of our planet, from politics to business to entertainment to terrorism to wealth to money to everything. They control every part of our lives. Now, this will go into the New World Order conspiracy theory as well, which all kind of links in.
Oh my God. Our stories are completely linked.
Oh my God. We didn't even do this on purpose.
OMG.
But basically, you probably would have heard a lot about the New World Order after COVID and everything, which is funny because you'll see what. Anyway, so
you'll see.
So basically, they're said to have this wealth and power that's completely unimaginable. Like, they can just do anything and control anyone in any moment. And so when I was researching this, there's like a pyramid of how the world is structured in terms of a hierarchy. So basically, and I was a bit confused by this top one, because the number one, so the point of the pyramid, said the world monarch. I don't really know what that meant, because when I was researching it, it came up with like the queen and like royalty. And in my mind, I was like, are they more powerful than these people?
No,
I wouldn't think so. So, but then I also saw this other theory that apparently these 13 families work with the devil. They have like their higher power where they get their energy and power from. So maybe that has some kind of link to that entity is the world monarch. I'm not sure.
We all know the devil doesn't exist
Anyway, that's what the number one placement was. The next one was, and this is probably why I'm not going to make it through this episode, because these people are scary.
And you've already told me I'm cool to move on.
I'm going to haunt you, but that's cool. Anyway, so number 2 is called the Crown. Hold on. The Crown Council of 13, which are the most rich families in the world. And I'll get back to who they are soon. The next tier is the Committee of 300, which are like we're still super rich, but not as rich as those 13. And
so that'd be like,
we kind of just do whatever they tell us to do.
Like oil tycoons, like the Middle Eastern sort of trillionaires, Vladimir Putin's, Elon Musk's kind of, because they're worth like hundreds and hundreds of billions.
They're the Committee of 300.
Trillions even.
Under them, you have the think tanks. So they're like the secret societies.
Masons.
There's a whole bunch of them. Under that, you have the banks who hold all the money. Under the banks, you have the big corporations. So
Apple.
Yeah. Google. All those ones. Google. Facebook.
The butcher shop down in Belgrade.
Yeah. The Mark Zuckerbergs of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the government. So police, military, prisons, medical, all those people. And under them, you have us little plebs.
Meh.
Us millions and millions of little plebs. So that is what they say is the hierarchy of our world. So we're just nowhere.
Well, nobody.
There was a thing saying, though, that if you really think about it, the people could take over because there's so much of us. And that if we wanted to, and if we had enough knowledge, we could do it. But that's the thing, is that they cut the knowledge. Anyway, that's later on.
You want to keep you dumb.
So in order to...
It's like A Bug's Life.
It is.
When he goes, like, with the grasshoppers and the ants, and the grasshoppers...
Here to help. And this is what I'm about to say.
The food, the ants leave the food, the grasshoppers eat the food. But then they're like, yeah, but there's so many of them.
Well, this is the thing. So in order to restore balance in the new world, a new world order was formed. And this was formed by America and Europe's most elite, wealthy families. So they are, and these are like 13 families that just had, those like families that go back generations and generations. Like they've got these historical roots that are just like,
so whenever
they've always been wealthy.
Like whenever they were divvying up land,
they were there.
America, they owned all of it. They go
way back.
Yeah.
So here are the 13 families. You have got the Rothschilds, the Astors, the Bundy, Collins, the DuPont, the Freemans, the Van Deuens, Kennedy, Lee, Onassis, Rockefeller, Disney, Russell, Reynolds, and one I can't pronounce. It's like Meroring, that one. So they're the 13 families. Pew!
Onassis.
Onassis, Jackie
Onassis, yeah.
So, like I said, they decide everything from money, politics. They decide when the next terrorist attack will be. They decide when the market will fall, what happens with the UN, when the governments change. Like they everything. But they also apparently control the global population, which is us. So that goes with how we think, what we do, how many of us there are. Apparently there's like a number that they want to keep the population at. And so therefore they keep us in check by creating things like viruses, vaccines, genetically modified foods. They create all these things,
and they
are said to have, meant to have cures for cancer, AIDS, all these things that wipe out everybody. And they do it because they want to keep the population to a certain number. And so when I was reading about them, it's funny because it's just funny facts about some of these families.
Yeah, it's just like,
It makes you feel like,
because I remember when we had the discussion about 9/11, and you said, I
yeah,
refuse to believe that the American government would be involved in something
yeah,
that would kill their own people. And
it's
I
all about
said, yeah,
money.
but it's money and territory. So they're just collateral damage.
Oh, the Bushes are meant to be one
Mm.
of the.
All right.
Mm,
But they're just collateral damage in this whole grand scheme of things. So
mm,
you imagine if you were in control of this, and there are, of course, there are, like, people have been saying for years, like if you look at um, cannabis treatments, and you look at like apricot kernels, and the vitamin B, whatever it is in apricot kernels, turkey tail mushrooms we were talking about recently,
yeah.
that are helping people cure people of cancer and shrink tumors. But that there is this idea that there are literally, it's like, oh no, it's completely curable.
Yeah.
It's completely
But they don't want
curable.
us to be
But they
cured.
let people that, imagine being responsible and letting and allowing, and I'm sure there's people who out there who maybe listen to this who have been affected by cancer. I know that it's in my family as well. So I mean, no disrespect by that or anything, but it's fucked when you think about it, that you go,
Mm.
wow, you're actually letting and watching people
Well,
die.
there's no money in cures.
There's no money in healthy people.
No,
Yeah.
exactly right. And so it was funny because when I was reading about these families, it's like funny to see what they control. Um, and you can see why they would be considered so powerful. So, like, for example, the Rothschilds, they control the banks.
Mm,
They run basically all the banks.
mm.
So there's all the money is with them. The Rockefellers, they put the UN together.
Oh my god, this is so linked to what you're talking about. That is
The
insane.
Morgans were said to start World War One and Pearl Harbor for financial reasons. They just started it because they could. The DuPonts, they create weapons, explosives, nuclear weapons.
And the irony of that is that the French are notoriously shit in
Yeah,
war
exactly.
and never
But they are
show
also
up.
the reason why marijuana was banned, because they worked with nylon, and hemp is also like a really good form
Hence
of that. And
way better.
they banned it because it wasn't what they
And that
wasn't.
was that Ronald? Who did the war on drugs? Was that Ronald Reagan?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then you have the Bushes, who are this like political dynasty. So there's politics.
Yeah.
Both presidents launched conflicts in Iraq, and their companies had this huge profit from it as well. So that's just some of them. But then you have obviously the Kennedys, like they go way back. They all in politics. And it's funny because they, JFK was talking about change and
He was
equality
outspoken.
and all of that, and he didn't last long.
Can I just say, so the whole thing with the Rothschilds, there's another conspiracy theory that links to them about the banks. So there's a conspiracy theory that there was another family that was trying to edge in on the banking industry, and they were all set to go on the ship, the Titanic.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there is this idea that this family and the Rothschilds, they were all invited to go on the Titanic, and the Rothschilds all got on, and just before they set off from Southampton, all the Rothschilds got off, and none of that family survived, and that meant that the Rothschilds had the monopoly on all the banks. That is
I wonder if
so weird.
I'm interested to know if the family just drowned, because a lot of people got off, and the wealthy got off first.
Yeah.
If they were not in their room when it happened, if they happened to find themselves somewhere where they.
Well, it was. They're saying there was no iceberg. It was just sunk. Like it was a deliberate. It was a deliberate sinking. And when you think about it, you go, "What's a couple of thousand people?" Whenever you've got, world domination.
But then, like, You think like obviously the Rockefellers as well, they're huge, but then
And they own that ice skating rink in New
Disney,
York.
Disney have all of us from a young age. They've got
You
me.
were the brand of Disney.
I'm tattooed by Disney, you know, and they have all the kids for every generation. Every kid is all about Disney.
Is that why they say there's some satanic messaging in Disney films?
I don't care, to be honest. I love Disney.
Amy's one of these
I
people
love Disney.
where she would just put her hands over her ears and go la 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 la.
Don't touch it.
While going to Disneyland.
Because it makes me so happy, and maybe that's why. Maybe I'm just that's why I'm in
You're
the bottom
programmed.
tier.
You're programmed.
I'm in the bottom tier, and you know what? I'm gonna stay there and just.
I'm gonna live a happy life, and then I'm gonna die.
But yeah, so there's like you can go into the whole New World Order thing as well, where like it's quite complicated, and to be honest, my brain was like at capacity at this point. But basically, it was like the idea is that they're going to make the big countries like America and all that their what's it called economy is going to go to shit, and then the really poor countries are going to go up, and so everybody kind of meets in the middle. And then you have things like you know, electric cars are going to become the thing, and you're not allowed to drive petrol cars, so they can decide when the cars turn off. Money is going to be only
All
electric
digital.
and so they control our money completely. They're going to say that, you know, we can't do this, we can't do that because of health reasons, we can't do this because of environmental reasons, and so we just get more and more constraint we get more what's the word, does that
like
make
restricted
sense? Restricted, so that it's this new world order where they basically just control us. And that's why people have this whole big issue with those 20-minute cities where everything that you would need would be within 20 minutes, so you don't have to go anywhere, so that we're in our place and we don't have to leave, and we're just like in our paddock pretty much.
As much as you go, these are conspiracy theories, fuck, it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does, because when you look at it, and like look at COVID, they locked us in our house for 2 years.
Yeah,
you know, and we did it. And I'm not opening up the COVID debate here at all. Like I had to live through that. I'm not fucking talking about it.
We don't open up that conversation.
But if you wanted to go down that route,
if you did,
it happened very easily.
Very
no one was
easily.
happy about it, but everybody did it,
and I
because
think
we didn't want to get a fine.
Do you know
we
what?
didn't want to get in trouble.
Maybe it was a bit of a trial run, because remember at the time it was like, hey, we're not accepting cash, it's card only.
Yeah.
And then people were like, no, you have to use cash. Fuck it, they have to accept it as legal tender. And then all the conspiracy theorists were out on Swanson Street in the city going, yeah. And they're like, and you go, and I'm like, well, I never carry cash anyway. I just use my phone.
Yeah.
But
again, here we are, the sheep.
Meh.
I never have cash on me.
No, I know I don't.
But yeah, so you can kind of see where they come from, of how easily, you know, and like even like people that's like, don't give them your license when they pull you over, because they'll get your information. You go, yeah, why don't you go on Facebook, and everyone knows where you are, who you're with, who you're friends with, what school you went to, what you ate for breakfast, what you look like. Like
when you got married, where you got married. They
can find out anything about you at any time. So yeah, that's why we are at the bottom, because we just go along with all these things so openly. I'm like, that sounds like fun. I'd love to connect with people.
Well, it's funny.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, look at Facebook, right? As soon as that was created, and that was like, okay, him in his dorm room with the Winkleberms or whatever they were called, the twins. the Winklebombs.
Whatever.
No one knows Winklevoss. Was Winkel? Anyway, that as soon as that happened, and then it got traction, you imagine them people going, we want that.
Well, that's why they're a lower tier.
Who are the major shareholders?
They control, and I saw this thing actually.
But who are the major shareholders of Facebook? I imagine it would be majority of those, because they would be access.
totally.
They get access.
And I saw this thing that it was like the number ones are they tell the number four tiers to keep the number fives mouths shut, because number 5 wants to tell us all the information.
Who's number 5?
That's like the government, CIA, all those people. They want to talk and tell us what the truth is. So they get the number 4s or the secret societies and all them to keep their mouths shut so that everybody just gets along.
Conforms.
Yeah. So that's why I guess you could look at it, not that I like him in any way, but someone like Trump would be controlled by the secret societies and told, shut up, don't talk. But he's opening his mouth. And then I saw this thing that it was like the first thing that happens is they discredit you. And then if you keep going, you get arrested.
Yeah.
And then if you keep going, you die. You have 3 steps.
And look at.
So that happened. Not that I like this person in any way. Andrew Tate. I hate him. Don't like him. Yeah. So please don't take this as any kind of like whatever. But so he spoke out a lot about this, saying that there are all these people in power. This is what they do.
Talking about the Matrix and everything.
Yeah. And then he said, what they'll do is they'll discredit you, they'll arrest you, and then they'll kill you. And so then he, not that long after, had, rape charges, this, that. Everybody's starting to hate him. He's still talking, and now he's been arrested for trafficking and whatever.
Have you seen?
And so he actually said, I have no doubt in my mind that I'll probably be dead.
But have you seen him being carted around? He's like, I would never kill myself. I would never kill myself. Yeah. I would never kill myself. I would never kill myself.
Because, well, that's what he's saying, because they're probably going to kill him. So, it's interesting. Like, I don't like him at all.
This is all tatted.
But yeah, so it is interesting to see like all the different powers at play and how easily these people can just be shut off. Yes.
Miss. Okay, so
do you want to tell yours
it's
now? Because you're obviously
no, because this all ties in. You talk about this discrediting.
Yeah.
Look at Dave Chappelle, right? Dave Chappelle was doing the Dave Chappelle show. Whenever you go against them, right? So Dave Chappelle was offered like $50 million to do the Chappelle show as this new series, and it was all this big thing, and he was just like, I just don't get a good feeling about this because they're trying to change the show because he became bigger than Ben-Hur. He was the biggest sketch comedy show in the world, and he was like, I can't fucking do this. And he disappeared and he went to Africa. And that's exactly what they did. They totally discredited him. They said Dave Chappelle's lost his mind.
Yeah.
And he came back, and Kay and Peele, he said, in his words, he said, they've been doing my show for the last 6 years because they conformed. They did what they were told. And Dave Chappelle didn't. And then he's come back now and he's gone through the Netflix route. He's got his 3 specials for $60 million. But like Jim Carrey, same thing. Jim Carrey started speaking out against and sort of doing the
and now he's all loopy,
and now he's a loopy. But remember his girlfriend died, the Irish makeup artist, and then he's crazy Jim Carrey. He's losing his mind.
But also Donald Trump, was discredited. He's a bit of a dickhead though. Discredited, and now he's probably going to be arrested, and he's been blabbing on and on and on.
That's madness.
And I'm sure there's a million other examples of people who, if you really think about it, who lost their minds. And I mean, even people like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She's crazy and needs to be drugged and shut up. And she said there's like a whole bunch to it. These people that said these things to her and controlled her, and it goes.
Michael Jackson.
And like I said before, they own every aspect. So entertainment.
Michael Jackson.
One of them, Michael Jackson. All those. So yeah, it's like stay in your lane or else. Hey everyone, I'm just going to pause today's episode for a moment. I hope you're enjoying it. It sounds super interesting. If you're enjoying this podcast and you're thinking, hey, how could I support this show? Then the best way to do that is to jump over to Patreon and become one of my patrons, where you'll get access to additional content, videos, bonus episodes of Ritual with Amy Harvey, that is me, learning tools to help you on your witchy path, and special discounts to my online store, rosethorncottage.com. Take it away, voiceover guy.
That's right. Simply head to patreon.com/Rosethorn Cottage to get all the goodies and support your favourite podcast in the entire world, Ritual with Amy Harvey. Now, back to the show.
It's happened to a number of actors. Like Brittany Murphy, remember whenever she passed away and everyone was like, geez, that was weird.
Oh, Ellen DeGeneres' ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
She recently died because she lost her mind, even though she was about to expose a whole bunch of
She
people.
made a film.
Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, we all know what didn't happen there.
That is so mental.
And he knew a lot of powerful people.
Yes.
So, yeah. Discredited, arrested, killed.
Well, there was that guy that spoke out about Spielberg. He's an actor, spoke about it, Spielberg, Tom Hanks, and all the like Hollywood elite, in inverted commas again. And so he said Spielberg was a pedophile, and so was Tom Hanks, and Hollywood's run by pedophiles, and blah blah blah. And then that guy,
dead.
Route 66, off a cliff.
And
weirdly enough, a few months later, Tom Hanks took a photo on Route 66 on his Instagram.
That's awkward. Yeah, there you go. Basically, the moral of the story is we're all screwed.
Just shut up and do what you're told, right? That is the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
How dare you throw my diary on the ground?
It means nothing to me. Okay. Everyone, back off a minute so I can read this. Okay. I'm going to talk to you about something called Project Bluebeam. Pew, pew. So if you cast your mind back a week, and you probably heard in the news that the American government were shooting down these unidentified objects in the sky.
Unidentified flying objects, also known as a UFO.
They were unmanned. Well, wait, when we say UFOs, we're not talking about like aliens.
They were these like
they were literally unidentified flying.
And...
Yes. Right. So there was
I heard they were from China.
There was one of them from China, and then there was this cylindrical object
everywhere.
the size of a small car.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, one over Canada. And anyway, they shot 3 of them down. Weirdly enough, they're now telling us about them.
I thought that was very weird because they never talk about aliens or anything, and then all of a sudden we're getting all this information about. And
speaking of Kennedy's, Senator Kennedy was interviewed on the news, and he said, well, the difference is that, you know, with this one is in the last 2 weeks we've been shooting at them. So he's saying the difference is now we're shooting at them, which obviously means this has been going on for quite some time. But
also, it's like, if that is an alien, let's not shoot at them, because I'm going to just assume
welcome aliens.
If they can travel to another planet and we can't do that, their technology is probably a little bit better than ours, and they're probably going to kill us. Here's
the thing. Carl, what's his name?
Stefanovic.
Carl deGrasse Tyson deGrasse, he's like one of the most amazing minds. I need to look it up. Carl deGrasse Tyson is his name, I think. He has said that there is no way that other life forms would be able. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's like, you know, he does things about the cosmos and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he has said that, like, the closest place in the universe that, you know, could have anyone in it would be that far apart, like far forward, the technology just wouldn't exist. Like they wouldn't be able to get here. He's like, they just wouldn't be able to get here.
I don't, but that's like assuming they're like us.
But traveling at the speed of light, it would still take many years. Anyway, Project Bluebeam is a conspiracy theory. It's 30 years old. That was created by a guy called Serge Monast. And it was a conspiracy theory on a new world order. Ooh. So get this, the heads of the world, this is how it ties in with your so perfectly, would use technology and stage world events to manipulate the minds and control them. And
are you saying minds or minds?
Minds, the minds of the people. And guess who would do this? NASA. And you mentioned the United Nations. Right? Right. So how would all this Project Bluebeam kick off? It would start with things like pandemics.
Tick.
UFO invasions.
Tick.
It would also involve things like earthquakes.
Ooh, we've been having a lot of them.
And also, it would culminate with the return of the Messiah or an alien invasion. Wow, this is like blowing my brains. So obviously these 3 UFOs have been taken down recently. So what Project Bluebeam is that it would manipulate the atmosphere to create lights and sounds, which would then
storms.
Yeah,
I saw something about how they can create storms to control us.
Completely. Yes, artificial weather. Yeah. So whenever you look at the people who are banging on about 5G, the 5G was meant to be like way quicker than 4G, and it's not. It's actually quite shit, and the amount of dropouts. But if you actually look at what 5G is, it has the potential to create 3D, 4D, 5D, 60, 70, and even 8D holograms.
Yeah.
8-dimensional holograms. And AI, the AI would just be through the roof. And obviously we've had a big influx of AI recently as well. So there's this CIA whistleblower and Harvard professor whose name is Dr. Robert Duncan. Look him up.
He did.
He does talks. And a lot of this is quotes from him telling a story. So he said there's a lot of people who see these orbs in the sky, and the guy who's interviewing him says like UFOs, and he goes, sure, UFOs. And so there's this like pilot, Robert Greevy, who's a US Air Force pilot, and he said he saw like these lasers in the sky. A lot of them did. Whenever they got their radar gear updated, they started seeing all these things, and they were darting across their radar. So what they do, and I say they, like you did, is that they play with their own forces to make sure that, and what his quote was, we make sure our trickery, in inverted commas, works. So they're these directed energy weapons, right? And they beam them into the atmosphere. They're these little focused beams, and it excites the electroorbitals of the oxygen and hydrogen in the atmosphere, which causes a glow, and an ionization which shows up on a laser. Which shows up on a radar. So it's an electron that's been excited, an ion in the sky, but it shows up on a radar. So all of a sudden, this thing just goes and appears on a radar, right?
Yeah.
And he said it's kind of like a cat laser. It's like a pointer.
Yeah.
So it can dart around like a cat laser. And he said, and what happens is it appears in front of you in the sky, like in a 3-dimensional atmosphere. So our enemies, in inverted commas, would scramble their jets. They'd send them up and they'd follow them. And what we can do is we can just switch them off. And by that stage, we're behind them and we can attack them. So it's all this distraction, right? So they can create these little laser beams in the sky, lure them over like cats to a laser, and they're behind them and they can attack them. He goes, if we wanted to do that.
which they obviously do.
which they're obviously planning on doing.
So okay, let me just. So they're saying that if they were to invade another country, they are talking about getting their troops to follow this laser, so then they could kill those people.
So it'd be like what they could do is war, they could potentially create them. Yeah. So a part of Project Bluebeam as well is these holograms in the sky, and they're suggesting that. And there's actually, you can see footage. So there's footage in sporting arenas where they've got like a giant like tiger.
Yeah, I saw that
going around. Like that's a hologram, but it looks legitimately real. So the technology that they've got is unbelievable. Even the Chinese, I think New Year, they had an 8D hologram, and it was numbers just in the sky, just created out of thin air.
That's crazy.
And then like they created buildings and stuff in the sky. They do it with drones as well, like lit up drones, but they do it with lights. So okay, so there was this idea from Ronald Reagan that with Project Bluebeam, that if you wanted to like create unity throughout the world, you could stage this alien invasion. So it'd be like, oh, we're not
work together.
We're not China, we're not America, we're not Taiwan, we're people, and we're against these people. So it could be sort of brought back, but it's also this trick that caused this trick into believing that the aliens are coming or the gods are coming. And this idea with this new world order is that they would create one religion. So if you were in a predominantly Christian country, they would have this projection of Jesus. If you were in a predominantly Muslim country, they would have a projection of Muhammad, and everyone would come together. The messiahs are back. The messiahs are here. Weirdly, throw back to one of our other episodes when I mentioned about the Anunnaki, the giants coming back. And remember the guy from the CIA, this other guy, he's like, the Anunnaki are coming back. Remember he said that a while ago? So the old gods are coming back. So that all ties in with exactly this. So if we see projections in the sky of like messiahs or gods or whatever.
So it's not real.
Well, it's deception. That's what these guys are saying. Again, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying this is what these guys are saying. This deception. And if you look at whenever all this started happening, it was the week that the Jeffrey Epstein Black Book list was revealed. Yeah. So everyone's like, yeah, let's see the list. Let's see the list.
I and it's still like, haven't seen it.
A UFO. Oh, really? Hey, here's the list.
And that happened as well when what's her face was in having her trial, was the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, and I don't even know what the hell happened with her trial, but I know what happened with Johnny Depp. Everyone was talking about. I've never seen a trial so heavily.
There's live feeds on YouTube. Yeah. Everywhere.
All over TikTok. That's all you saw.
And then I was like,
I didn't even know she had her trial then. And we didn't see her list. It just vanished.
So this guy, let me just check his name again, Dr. Robert Duncan, also specializes in robotics and AI, right? And so he was involved in this program called The Voice of God. And it was sort of looking at what the future human would look like. Now, think about future human, how we can control future humans. We'd probably want to fuck with their DNA a bit. Now, remember the vaccines we were all given, and a lot of them said it does toy with your DNA a bit, right? So this DNA change probably makes the communication.
This is blowing my mind.
Easier. So he's talking about this technology.
It makes you feel so stupid.
Yeah, but if we're happy and you die, why not? Like, what are you going to do? Be an evil family and kill people?
Why am I evil?
Well, it's either that or this.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I'm happy living in the forest amongst the trees.
Yeah, true.
It's good. I like it. Snuggles.
I guess so.
Yeah. Doing a podcast every now and again whenever you let me. For now, I know. This was the last one.
They never were heard of again.
Let me just try and read my own writing here. So, okay. So The voice of God was this creation of technology that could type voices into people's heads.
What?
Right. And there was a number of different methods. So I've got two of them for you. This is called neurolinguistic technology. And it worked during, he said, the Gulf War, because when you've got no sense of direction, where these voices are coming from a no source, you immediately throw it to, it must be a higher being.
Yeah.
And they used this technology to basically say, put your guns down, quit, put your guns down, quit. You should just like surrender. You should put your gun down. And it worked. And then, the Yanks won.
So it's almost like a hypnosis thing.
Yeah, it's like using whatever's this
control.
technology for mind control, right? There's this other part of it. There's this other method of doing it, and its purpose is almost to walk them to their death. So what it does is it manipulates the brain into almost like a paranoia. My word is out of control, spinning out of control. I'm alone. My family don't like me. The social media things, I check my friends and they're not there. My friends and family aren't there. They've turned on me. And essentially then it leads people to commit suicide. Which is what we've seen with people, celebrities who have gone a bit crazy, in inverted commas, and then ultimately unalived themselves.
What?
It's the first time I've ever used the phrase unalive themselves. So that is what this guy is talking about as a part of Project Bluebeam. And if you look at the UFO business, weirdly during pandemic lockdown, during the dry run of let's see if we can control these plebs. Again, I'm just saying this
allegedly
as like this is the theme of the show. This is the theme of the episode. So let's buy into it for this moment, that they started releasing information about UFOs at that time as well. Did they not?
I can't remember that.
They did.
I just remember sadness.
I just remember dark clouds and empty bottles of vino. But it was there. They released footage and they let people talk about aliens.
Is that when
UFOs.
The footage of the were they Navy or Air Force? Yes. Is that when that came out?
During lockdown. Ooh. So they were preparing everyone, and then they went, get your vaccines or else you can't leave the house. And people were like, nah. And they're like, you crazy conspiracy theorists. And us dicks went, yeah, just jab me, mate.
Isn't it funny though how quickly, once we all had to be vaccinated, that we didn't have to be vaccinated anymore? Like we all had to be, or else we couldn't do anything. But then within a few months, really,
it was like, yeah,
it was like, oh, never mind, you're all done anyway.
That said, there are still people within the acting fraternity who can't work because so if I audition for a job, they do ask for vax certificates. Really? Yeah, still that is true. But we can walk in and out of restaurants, and the perfect example of whenever we had Poet and we were in this special COVID room, and then we could get Uber Eats,
even though we were both negative, and
it made no sense. So that's Project Bluebeam, and that's why people are saying that if you look at a lot of the footage of these UFOs and these aliens, it looks like laser beams, it looks like bright lights. A lot of them, people are taking footage of Starlink, which is the the Elon Musk satellites that give you internet, and they're like, well, what is that? People are like, it's Starlink, but there are
the disc in the sky. It's the moon.
It's the moon.
No, it's not.
No, it looks like cheese. It's the moon. But there are like these anomalies that are happening in the sky that when you look at them, you go, yeah, I can see that actually being generated by some form of light or hologram or something like that.
I haven't seen enough to make a judgment call on that.
You haven't lived. You'd fall down that rabbit hole.
Fuck.
So that's
my brain hurts.
That's Project Bluebeam, and that actually ties in weirdly and perfectly with yours, which I didn't even realize.
That's so weird.
Whenever you said New World Order, I was like,
we know who's running your one then, my one.
Your guys.
Yeah.
How weird.
So basically mine also run the Illuminati. Just
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
FYI. Or would they be considered a secret society though?
Oh, so the Secret Society. There's also a throwback that I just didn't remember. It was going to be created by the Masons.
Who were one of the
secret
13?
societies. No, the Mason, as in the stonemasons, a secret society.
Yeah.
Yeah, working under the number 666, so the
Ah.
devil satanic thing. And you know, it's funny because you mentioned that they were in a triangle.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the Illuminati is the triangle.
Oh my god, my brain. Well, one of the families is called the Masons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, they're called the Masons.
my god.
Oh, my brain hurts.
I'm well and truly freaked out.
Yeah, shit. We're toast for sure.
Yeah. Nah. Too many people talk about this. And that's the thing. They'll just call us crazy.
We're all a little crazy.
And we are. And I would never kill myself.
I'm far too compliant to be a threat to any of them.
It's like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah. Never speak again. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Look, we will give you a free trip to Disneyland if you delete this episode. I'm like, what episode?
And worship Satan. Okay.
What episode are you talking about? As
Yeah.
I put my ears on my head and skip to the airport.
Did you say it was a first class ticket?
No economy. I'll take it.
I'm gonna talk.
So there you go.
So there you go.
So next time, I want you to do the ice wall thing.
Ah, yeah,
Is that even what
Antarctica.
it's called?
Yeah, I've actually I saw something recently about, what do you call it whenever you view from afar? You
Astral travel? No.
right,
Or yeah, like that.
remote viewing.
You're remote viewing.
So
Yes.
I saw this interview with a lady who was talking about the fact that she was remote viewing in Antarctica over the ice wall. And as she was doing that, she turned around and she felt the presence of two other things that were doing remote viewing on her.
Well,
and they chased her to find out where she was remote viewing from. And in the comment section of this video, people are like, oh yeah, how much meth have you been smoking and all this kind of... and they're like, someone replied, mate, what are you talking about? The US government have been talking about psychic attacks and
well, that's
remote
what
viewing for years.
they do. Psychic shields over area 50, 40, 51, 49. What is it?
No one's really keen on area 49. Like, no one really wants to go
area
there.
51?
Wouldn't that be just the name of the cafe in area 51?
What number is
Area 49?
Area 37? Area 51?
Area 51?
Yeah, so they do psychic wards and stuff over it so that people can't do remote viewing, and they do it. There's also meant to be one in Australia in the desert.
Ayers Rock?
Like in the middle of nowhere. There's
Near
meant to
Ayers Rock?
be one. I
That's
forgot
the
the name of
base.
it. And they've also done the same thing so that people can't get in.
You can't
because
see
it
it on
works.
maps and stuff.
No. Interesting. I want to do one on Area 51 too. Not that there'd be much to talk about because no
No.
one knows. But
I went once, but you know,
I don't want to talk about it.
I wasn't too fussed on the place. Gift
Um,
shop was shit.
I got a magnet.
It's like I went to Area 51
God,
and all I got was a
this.
shitty magnet.
It's got like aliens and stuff on it.
No, you take a photo like this behind a screen of aliens, and then like
You
it's like
take a-
$40 for the printout. It's It's
But there's like a
insane.
little laser on your head.
But you do get digital copies of it as well. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's good.
They also gave you a free chip that they placed in your ear. Apparently
We don't can't talk about that.
Disney.
That's why I can't stand near the microwave. It hurts.
It's when I hear the voices.
If my coffee's cold, I just drink it. I don't put it in the microwave. It hurts too much. Coffee is pain.
All right. There we go.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
My brain is officially dead after that.
Sorry, but our brains have been dead for quite some time.
It's true.
Well, with all the vaccines and all.
I was going to say, parent life.
No. DNA changing vaccines will do that.
If you're an anti-vaxxer, I don't want to hear it.
No. My heart condition is just fine, thank you.
I've had that twitch for a while.
I had it for a day before I got that vaccine.
I got it.
I had it after the first jab,
But my
not the
polio
third,
one.
not the
So
booster.
screw
You getting any more?
Conspiracy theories.
No boosters.
Meningococcal.
Yeah. Riboflavin.
What?
That's just an ingredient in chewing gum, I
Sounds
think.
like a river in Scotland.
Riboflavin. It's like a type of condom. It's like ribbed and flavored.
Can I just say
riboflavin.
a really, really quick conspiracy theory as a sign off? It's not a sign off at all.
Should we cut the bit about the condom?
What did you say?
Doesn't matter. You can hear it whenever you listen to the podcast.
A bit about them what?
The condom.
I didn't hear you.
Oh, because I went riboflavin. Like, oh, it sounds like a type of condom. It's ribbed, but it's flavored. It's riboflavin. It's like a German. Do you ever want to have a ribbed condom flavors? Try riboflavin. You can have them in blue, green, and bluish green and blue. Project Bluebeam. Branded riboflavin. Right now they're on special for 14 for €3.
That is really weird.
Riboflavin.
I don't want to say my story now because it's really depressing.
The slogan for riboflavin is riboflavin. It's nice to meet you.
What are you talking about? What are you even talking about? We're so tired. Oh my God.
What were you going to say?
Oh, the story is really depressing.
No, tell me. Tell me. I could do with some
about dogs
depressing
that commit
news.
suicide.
Why? Why are you going to tell that?
Because it was a conspiracy theory.
The dogs commit suicide.
No. So there's this bridge in Scotland
Hmm.
called something.
Mm. It's called Bragadoon Bridge.
Apparently, all these dogs who have going walks near there, they just jump off the bridge.
Right.
Like hundreds have done it, to the point where some of them actually climb back up if they didn't die and then jump off again.
Why?
They can't figure it out. They said it's almost like something is luring them to the edge.
Does it smell like sausages down there?
Well, they thought it was like there was this certain animal that lived in that area, and they said that maybe it was like the aroma of it, but they said it wouldn't be strong enough for them to smell it.
To
from
just
a certain
jump
point.
though.
And so, yeah, it's like hundreds of dogs have done it. And they said, yeah, it's like this energy is luring them over and then they jump.
What's the local folklore about?
I would love to read more about and find out, but surely it would be some kind of like fae spirit that is like doing that, because that's what they do. They lure.
It'd have a really good name, like, aye, that's the McGubbin. The McGubbin lures the dogs.
Yeah.
For 300 years ago, she lost her dog and she's calling the dogs with sausages.
What?
That's what I say. If it smelled like sausages down there, they'd probably jump.
Our dogs
Ours
would.
would.
But they do it so awkwardly. Like the entity would be going, come on.
They'd hang
Just get
themselves
up.
on the way down or
Because
something like
like
that.
Norman, he wants to jump on the couch and you have to tell him like 47 times.
Like a cat.
Come on, go.
He's like a cat.
Jump. You can do it. Go. And he just like looks at you like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it this time. Right. So they probably just end up going, oh fuck it, whatever, and just let them go and they just snap back. Anyway.
Well,
my uplifting story to end. There's a bridge where dogs try and jump off.
Bragadoon Bridge.
Yep. That was
Well,
really funny.
I'm glad we finished on that note and not riboflavin, which, of course, this episode was proudly brought to you by riboflavin.
Blue Beam.
Blue Beam flavor.
Anyway, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Amy. It was lovely to meet you.
We will be back with more stories. We've got some really cool ones coming up.
What?
Like the famous witches.
Yes, we have famous witches throughout history.
Magic of nature.
Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to that one. Maybe I should tell my story.
Of? About the trays. The trees. Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Spoke to me.
Oh, they did, yeah.
The trees spoke to me.
But you have to wait. Yeah. Anything else?
I'm happy. I would never commit suicide. Let me just finish with that one. I'm not going to Brigadoon Bridge. No, I'm pretty good. I'm good to finish. Like, I don't really have anything to. I started doing TikTok as well. I haven't done one for a while, but I did some. You did some?
I do TikTok, yeah.
What are you doing?
I thought I heard something outside. Now I'm going to turn so paranoid. Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Yeah, you're on TikTok. You're making good TikToks. You're making lots of them.
Yeah.
I made a few and then I stopped, but I'm doing more soon.
And also this weekend, the Mabon Ritual box comes out, which is very exciting.
It is actually a wonderful box.
The shop is open for the first time since I had a baby. So, yes, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And the Mabon one is like super cozy, very autumn vibes, very magical. So get on that if you're looking for some Mabon magic.
We probably should have said that at the start of the episode. I don't know how many people make it this far.
Well, if you're listening, you deserve one more than the others.
Exactly. And
those other ones are annoying.
And I love you for that. You can't say that. What if they jump back into the episode?
Well, they should have listened.
What if they skipped a bit?
If you're listening, you are a true supporter, and I love you.
And I love you too. I'm going to take you down to Brigadoon Bridge.
Why would you want to do that?
It smells like sausages. And who doesn't like the smell of sausages?
Fish?
No one doesn't like the smell of a sausage.
Especially Bunnings sausages.
Oh, on the barbecue. And afterwards, we'll go back to the safety of the house with the dogs.
I'm going to end it here before we just keep going, because we will. Thank you for listening. Speak for yourself. If you want to find me, I'm in all the usual places, like Instagram.
At Rosethorn Cottage.
Yes. TikTok.
The Witch of Rosethorn
Very
Cottage
good. Patreon.
at Rosethorn Cottage.
And
Facebook
my website.
at Rosethorn Cottage. The website, rosethorncottage.com or rosethorncottage.com.au.
And this podcast.
And this podcast, of
Ritual.
course, Ritual, available on all of your popular streaming services. But you would know that because you're listening to it.
Yay!
Yay!
Anyway, thank you so much for listening and have a great day, night, afternoon, or morning.
Thanks very much for listening. Thanks for having us. And thanks for putting up with our business.
Bye.
Love ya.
Bye.